Every new morning is not just an opportunity to wake up, but a time to refresh your memories, a time to plan, a time to refocus, and a time to look back to your achievements and your prospects. It's another beautiful Thursday morning on Dawn on VOS TV Nigeria, reaching you live from our Benin City studio, the Edo State capital. Here on Dawn, we take a look at stories that are making waves, across Nigeria, making waves across Edo State and the society in general. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning. My name is Jude Aweke, and you know I don't do it all alone. I'm here in the studio, flanked by Felicia
Odeji. Good morning, beautiful viewers at home. Good morning, Benin City, Nigeria, and of course, Edo State. How are we doing this wonderful Thursday morning? It's a throwback Thursday, and yes, you'd want to look back on your life. It is time to reflect, a time to think back, because I love the saying that says, we live life forward, but we understand it backward. Right?
Exactly.
So it's a perfect opportunity for you to reflect on your life. How has your life been in the past 5, 10, 20 years? That's if you're in your 20s anyway.
Exactly.
It's good to be here on the show this morning.
Hope you are good this morning.
As you can see, I am doing good.
It's evident.
It is.
It's glaring.
The glory
it's
of God
evident
is
that you are doing good. And you continue to do good in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen to that, my brother, and to
pray
you
in the
too.
Islamic way. You continue to do good, inshallah. You say Ameen.
Ameen. And I pray same for you as well.
Amen.
You will continue to do good in every area of your life, financially and in every area. And very soon, we go chop wedding rice. I know you're not going to talk me for that one.
No go there.
Eh?
And to our viewers too, we pray for you. God will continue to open your path and, bless you abundantly.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
It's still done on VOS TV Nigeria, reaching you live from our Benin City studio. Yes, as we do it, we take a look at the issues beyond the surface. We analyze them. We take a look at them in-depthly, giving you a picture of them so that you get a better understanding of these issues from international, national, to even state level, our society in general. That's what we do here. So let's set the ball rolling by saying what are the stories that made it to the top of national dailies this morning. Stay tuned. It's good to know that you're still there with us on the program, Dawn on VOS TV, reaching you live from Benin City, the Edo State capital. All right, so let's take a look at the stories that made it to the top of national dailies this morning. The stories that are on the front page of national dailies. We begin with the Tribune this morning, and on the front page of the Tribune, the first story there says, consumer products must be labeled in English. FCCPC warns manufacturers. All right, that story is on page 3 of the Tribune this morning. Court orders for final forfeiture of $1.3 million linked to Achimugu's company to FG. That story is on page 2. Court nullifies CBN's bank takeover, orders reinstatement of former board. And the screaming headline on the Tribune this morning: PDP crisis, Turaki, wicked groups soften stance. The story has two writers, and the first one: we have broken the ice, says Turaki. Convention won't prevent reconciliation. That's Minister of the SCT. Yes, some wicked speaking there. Yes, some wicked there. All right. NBA condemns Showari over misuse of courtroom. That story is on page 25 of the Tribune this morning. Court shifts El-Rufai's 1 billion naira rights suit against ICPC, that's the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, IGP, and others. All right. So, just before we move on, Felicia, let's take a look at the screaming headline this morning on the Tribune: PDP crisis. The PDP crisis that have been lingering over, over the years, and now it's like we are beginning to see that there is going to be an end to the lock of horns by the gladiators, by all the singing, Yendeba, 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 Yendeba. It will soon come to an end. So, do you think that this reconciliation is something that is genuine? This reconciliation, do you think it will be genuine? Because we still have the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, still saying that even if there is going to be, a reconciliation, it doesn't stop him, it doesn't stop his faction from continuing or going ahead with its planned convention. So, what do you think about this? If there is going to be reconciliation and you want to go ahead with convention, if everyone has reconciled, are you going to now do another convention to incorporate everyone, or are you going to do that? How do you see this whole situation?
Well,
is this reconciliation bid really genuine?
First of all, let me say a big congratulations to the PDP on shifting grounds, because I mean, it's long overdue. This battle has lasted far too long, and it's high time that they shifted ground. I'm glad that the Turaki-led faction and both the Wike faction are shifting grounds, and they are now making room for peace. Because whether we like it or not, the PDP had been a strong opposition against the ruling party, and we want that opposition to continue. We want that opposition to stand, because if a government is just ruling out, there's no opposition, it doesn't put them on their toes. Now, coming to the facts that you said, Wike still wants to go ahead with his planned convention despite the reconciliation bids. I feel that these parties, they're still working on something, and hopefully it might be resolved before the convention, because even Turaki faction are saying that there are still cases in courts that if both parties come to an agreeable term, that they are willing to remove every case from court. So, as regards the convention, I don't see it in any way stopping the reconciliation. My own is, I'm happy that they are finally shifting grounds. At least now we can look forward to a presidential candidate and other candidates from the People's Democratic Party. So, it's a good one.
All right, so we expect that their planned reconciliation will not just be spoken words, but will be matched with actions and deliberate. All right, not just reconciliation, and at the end of a few months you see them locking horns again. All right,
well.
because if you continue to lock horns, 2027 is fast approaching. So let's move on to other stories that are still on the Tribune this morning. FG defends OPL 245 settlement, accuses critics of misrepresentation. ADC World Congress is held 7th of April, convention April 14. Rising fuel prices, petrol and FG to alleviate hardship of Nigerians. And on health, worsening financial conditions accelerate memory loss in older adults, studies indicate. All right, those are some of the stories that we have on the Tribune this morning. So let's talk about this story. Felicia, financial condition worsening, leading to memory loss. How do you see this?
Okay,
if you don't get money, you will lose memory.
First of all, I want to say a big shout out
memory.
to the Nigeria Tribune. I love the fact that they always include a health section in their headlines, so it helps people to become more aware and more conscious of their health. Then, as regards the study, indeed, financial condition can actually lead to loss of memory. Not just in older adults, even you that is standing. If your finances are not balanced, guy, trust me, you will not be balanced. You'll be thinking of ways, like there is a way that your brain will start rotating. You are looking for ways to make more ends meet. So really, finances is really a very important aspect that we all have to look into. Especially as young adults, we have to look at planning for the future. Because if you plan for the future as a young adult, then as an older adult, it will be easier for you to navigate. Don't just spend all you have. It's a call for you to save, invest. There are so many things. There's gold, there are shares. Thank God Dangote Refinery will be opening up public shares very soon. So these are avenues you can actually plug your money into rather than spend all you earn.
All right, so you know a popular local parlance saying says, problem not they finish you, problem not they finish. So I want to advise you as you are thinking about your financial status, please do it carefully so that you don't get to contract or rather fall sick as a result of financial and lose memory as a result of your financial difficulties. All right,
exactly.
So be considerate, think about your health, think about, just live within your means, your earnings. All right, just try to manage, meander your way out. All right, don't be discouraged. Everything will be better by the grace of God.
It will.
All right.
It will.
So let's move on to our next newspaper this morning, and that is the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, we have the top story. The first story there says, how US-Iran war drives crude oil prices up 85% to $130. Terrorist ambush troops kill 9 soldiers. Policeman in Kebbi State. The story has a rider as gunmen demand $1 billion ransom to free 8 Kwara adoptees. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard this morning. Just before we move on, let's talk about this. Imagine, insecurity is not something that we see on a daily basis, especially kidnapping and terrorist attacks. And kidnappers now demanding $1 billion. $1 billion.
Level don't change, level don't high for them.
No, where do you expect these people to see such a whooping sum of money? $1 billion.
Well, I believe
where are we heading to?
Well, as some persons will say, we are heading to a state of anarchy. That's where we are heading to. If we don't tackle the problem of insecurity in the bud, we'll be heading to a situation whereby people will no longer want to stay in Nigeria. That's what's going on now. Jackpot everywhere. Everyone is jackpotting. And the countries that they are jackpotting to are now rejecting us. Take, for instance, currently there's a protest going on in South Africa. Xenophobic protest has spurred up again, saying that the South African government have to repatriate all foreigners from South Africa. So it is issues like this, issues of insecurity, issues of not proper structures being put in place in a country that makes people leave their country. So investors will not want to invest in your country if they cannot feel safe. If they know that their assets, their money will not be safe, they will definitely not invest. So this is a call to the federal government, the state government, the security agencies. Yes, we are clamoring for state policing, and I hope, I'm really praying that it comes soon to help us tackle these issues we are having, because it's becoming worse than day after day.
It's quite unfortunate. I'm still wondering, I'm still asking the question, where do you expect 8 adoptees to get $1 billion?
You know, negotiations, they just put that based on, maybe they've looked at the kind of persons, the profile of the people they kidnapped.
The people they kidnapped, you know, they are mostly common man. the everyday man that you see on the streets that boards vehicle, you know, go to a park and board vehicle to travel.
But we don't know that, do we?
So if you're, we see them in the news. So it's quite unfortunate that our situation has deteriorated to this level that kidnappers are now demanding 1 billion naira. 1 billion naira. Okay, because let me speak Urobo. Let's move on. We just hope that the security agencies, the governments, and other relevant bodies will do the needful to nip the side of insecurity that is bedeviling us in this part of our world. All right. Let's move on and see other stories that are on the Vanguard this morning. And still on the Vanguard, Middle East crisis. U.S.-Iran offer counter proposal to achieve ceasefire. To achieve a ceasefire, anti-immigrants protest. South Africans target Nigerians. Others call for stricter border control. And as we can see there, the picture there, big picture there, Southeast APC Zonal Congress. We can see from left, former President of the Senate, Senator Ken Namani, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, Governor of Imo State, Opuzodima, Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, Governor of Ebonyi State, Francis Wumfura, and the Deputy National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress South, Chief Ima Inokwa, during the Southeast APC Zonal Congress held at the Hotel Presidential in Enugu State. All right, that was yesterday. So moving on, the screaming headline on the Vanguard this morning, 2027 marking day, Wike camps move to save PDP. The story has several riders. Those working against reconciliation identified and flushed out, says Suraki. Mankinde Bala Mohammed, stakeholders gave us mandates to reconcile. NWC sources. Pardon. Moving on, court nullifies CBN's takeover of Union Bank, says regulators acted beyond powers. 2027, all 6 geopolitical zones rally behind Tinubu as APC holds congresses. Ogun 2027, 11 men, 4 women battle to succeed Governor Abiodun. Let's take a look at this story just before we move to our final newspaper that we'll be taking a look at this morning. You know, 2027 Ogun gubernatorial poll. 11 men, you know, jostling to secure the seats. And we're having 4 women. What does this say about women participation in politics?
Well, first of all, I want to say this is a big one for women. Yes, this is a big one for women. When I saw that story, I was elated because for many governorship positions in states, we don't really see women coming out. But having 4 women come out for this Ogun governorship race is actually a big one, and it will go a long way to encourage other women. I'm happy that these women, talking about the daughter of President Olusegun Obasanjo, the current deputy governor, Sarafi Yusuf, who is a broadcaster, by the way, and a US-based doctor, Dr. Bolaji, they are coming out. This is, it's a boost. For somebody like me, it's an encouragement. It's telling me that, oh, come next election, I can contest and ensure you vote for me.
I look forward to the day you contest. And of course, I will exercise my franchise and vote for you. You will. If you don't vote for me, we go get quantum for this studio. All right. So let's move on to our final newspaper this morning. Just before we move on to the next segment of the program, and that's Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, the screaming headline there says, "Concerns as consensus plots robs parties of internal democracy." All right. Travel agencies decry 1 billion naira yearly loss to foreign airlines sanctions. That story is on page 3. Nigerians borrow to survive as 30% earn and below 100,000 naira. Union Bank status unchanged, says CBN despite court ruling. NBA Showore bicker over abuse of courtroom etiquette. 50% of executed projects vandalized, abandoned, says NDDC laments. PDP leaders open to peace path assure Nigerians of 2027 readiness. ADC descries rising insecurity, seeks better country. And else IB condemns alteration of aircraft data recorders by airlines. Clerics decries Sorry's attacks on churches, worshippers. Alright, those are some of the stories on the Guardian this morning. So Felicia, just before we go to the next segment of the program, let's quickly take a look at this story of, you know, the ADC lamenting that insecurity is becoming a very serious issue, and that government is not doing a better, you know, not doing enough to nip the tide. What do you think about this? You know, a lot of people, they would think that it's a kind of, because they are in the opposition, they are trying to downplay the efforts of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the ruling party, the APC. What's your view on this?
Okay, first of all, let me start off by saying that security is everyone's business. Not just the opposition, not just the ruling party. And I feel this is why the opposition are coming out to cry out. Yes, the government are doing what they can, but they have to do more. And that's the essence of opposition. If we don't have people who put others on their toes, that's what opposition is about. Opposition is to criticize you, to tell you that this area you are trying, this is the area you are working, this area you are not working well, you need to do more. So let's not put it about politics. Security concerns everybody. If they are to kidnap anyone related to me now, it will be my concern.
Exactly.
So security is everyone's business. Let's not politicize things. There are things we ought not to politicize, all right?
Exactly. So we expect that government will do its best. We intensify on efforts and address the problem of insecurity that we are facing in this country. All right. Just another story that is actually catching my attention here on the Guardian this morning. 50% of executed projects vandalized, abandoned. NDDC is lamenting. And then when you have this kind of lamentation coming from the NDDC, you ask questions like, where are those saddled with the responsibility of protecting national assets? Where is the NSCDC and other agencies?
I'm going to be very fair here. I'm not going to be biased. Properties, whether government or private, belong to communities. An agency cannot just be saddled with the responsibility of taking care of properties or infrastructure. NDDC, take for instance, let me use my own community as a case study. We have a community school. At a point when they refurbished the school during the Adams Oshomole administration, we had boys, area boys, who would go into that school, mess up the whole place, smoke, vandalize the windows, break chairs and what have you. So the community had to stand up and put up security in that school to ensure that it did not happen. To the extent that everyone contributed, they had to fence the school round because then the school wasn't fenced. They fenced, they put barbed wire. And today we don't have cases like that. So when infrastructures are being put on ground by an agency, don't just expect that it's the agency's place to also protect it. It's everybody's concern. Because if infrastructures come, now everybody will enjoy them. So let's all put hands together and not just put the blame on government alone. Government cannot do everything. You and I, we have a role to play, and we need to play that role as a community. We need to protect the infrastructure that has been built for us and not just wait on government, please.
Exactly why we expect that you know, security agencies saddled with responsibility of protecting national assets like the NSCDC and others will do their job effectively. There is also the need for the communities, you know, to collaborate with government and ensure that we protect these assets, all right, let's complement the efforts of those saddled with the responsibility of protecting these assets, so that when they are not vandalized, they are there for our use to better our lives. All right. True. So, and for you that is vandalizing, there is need for you to have a rethink and change your mindsets. All right. When you destroy public assets, governments will, you know, deploy other funds to repair these assets, and who is losing? Ask yourself this question. All right.
It's our money.
All right. It's our money collectively. Yes, that's just the fact. So you should stop that. Change. Stop that. It's not good. All right. So coming up next is the next segment of the program, which is the discussion segment of the program. We'll be taking a look at a very important issue, and that is the issue of the war against sex trafficking, prostitution in Edo State. All right. Is Edo State winning the war against prostitution and sex trafficking? Stay tuned. And don't forget to use the comment section to lend your voice to the topic of discourse. All right. Don't go away.
From the ancient glory of the great Benin Kingdom to the vibrant culture that defines the Edo people today,
VOS TV proudly presents The Pride of Edo,
a captivating cultural and lifestyle documentary series celebrating the history, traditions, food, music, and achievements of great Edo people across the world.
Journey with us through royal traditions, colorful festivals, breathtaking tourist destinations, and inspiring stories of Edo sons and daughters making global impacts.
Each week brings powerful documentaries, studio conversation, youth spotlights, and moments that celebrate the true spirit of Edo heritage. Don't miss The Pride of Edo, premiering March 30th, 2026, exclusively on VOS TV.
Celebrate the culture, honor the legacy, experience the pride of Edo. Only on VOS TV.
Are you planning an event, launching a brand, or looking for powerful media visibility? Welcome to VOS TV. VOS Global Media Limited, your trusted media powerhouse in Benin City. Located at number 82, First Isekulu Road, we deliver top-class event coverage, live streaming, studio and outdoor photography, and professional videography that tells your story with clarity and creativity. Need sharp editing, catchy jingles, full program production? We've got you covered. From talk shows to entertainment, general news, advert placement, and even social media management, VOS TV gives your brand the spotlight it deserves. Clear visuals, professional sound, creative excellence. Call us today on 080-2254-7837 or 090-3710-3329. VOS TV, amplifying your voice to the world. From the ancient glory of the great Benin Kingdom to the vibrant culture that defines the Edo people today,
VOS TV proudly presents The Pride of Edo,
a captivating cultural and lifestyle documentary series celebrating the history, traditions, food, music, and achievements of great Edo people across the world.
Journey with us through royal traditions, colorful festivals, breathtaking tourist destinations, and inspiring stories of Edo sons and daughters making global impacts.
Each week brings powerful documentaries, studio conversation, youth spotlights, and moments that celebrate the true spirit of Edo heritage. Don't miss The Pride of Edo, premiering March 30th, 2026, exclusively on VOS TV.
Celebrate the culture, honor the legacy, experience the pride of Edo. Only on VOS TV.
Welcome. It is still your favorite morning show, Dawn, on VOS TV, and this is the discussion segment of the show. Today we'll be talking about a very important, crucial topic, one that speaks to the heart of each and every Edo citizen. For years, Edo State has been at the center of conversation around the issue of prostitution and sex trafficking. Past and current government have launched crackdowns. Agencies like the Edo State Migration Agency and NAPTIV have made arrests. Yet, residents say that the issue seems to be growing by the day, not ending. We've also had survivors who shared their harrowing experiences, and there happens not to be a change, with hubs like GROA Iyamu still being a hotspot for this sex trade. So this morning, we are not pointing fingers. We are asking very salient questions. What is working? What is not working? And how can we, government, families, schools, traditional institutions, religious institutions, individuals, join hands in the fight against this social menace called sex trafficking and prostitution? Joining me on the show to answer these salient questions and other issues arising on this topic is a civil society activist, the person of Comrade Agbala Joseph.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Bale Joseph.
Bale Joseph.
Yeah.
Comrade Bale Joseph. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, how are you doing this
I'm
morning?
very good.
Okay, now let's kickstart from your experience as a civil society activist. Looking at this issue, what can you say about past government measures in terms of curbing this social menace?
Yeah, for me, I think the past governments have done so much in the tackling of this issue of sex trafficking and illegal migration and all that, you understand? Especially, I want to give kudos to two past administrations. One, that of the Lucky Millions tenure, where they created this Idia Renaissance as a way and manner to rehabilitate these girls and all that. Then, just recently, I want to commend, I would also like to commend that of the previous administration, that of former Governor Godwin Obaseki. You know, this issue of fighting sex traffickers, illegal migration and all that is a policy thing, and it also goes a long way in posturing your government, you understand, because, or your state, or the country at large. And for me, you understand, the past administration, or rather the immediate past administration, they were very deliberate on this issue of illegal migration. Very, very deliberate. And you could see that they try to do everything they can to, if not stop it, but minimize and reduce it. You could see how the governor attended, went to Italy, signed so many accords in seeing how they can rehabilitate these girls. You understand? Even those ones that are returned, they are being deported, see how they can reintegrate them fully into the society, give them the prerequisite skills so that they can fit into the society. So these were some of the measures that the previous administration did. You understand? They were able to do to nip this issue at the bud, even if it's not yet Uhuru, you understand, but to an extent you could see that deliberate attempt for a government to solve a problem which is even global, you understand, and thereby creating that same agency we talk about today, the Migration Agency. All is to see how they can nip this issue on the board. But coming to this current administration, like I said, I would not want to cast, you said it, we would not want to cast aspersion, but I think the governor of the state, even the office of the First Lady, they are not doing enough in making sure that this issue is properly given the desired attention, because it's a global issue and the stigmatization, you understand, is also an issue. So government needs to come in, you understand. The Migration Agency is doing its best, but you know, in every government, there seems to be areas of concentration. You understand? The governor can come today, will tell you, you see like Oshomole's administration, they concentrated on the Red Roof Revolution, which is, so I do not think this governor or this present government see that issue as a deliberate as a worrying issue that they need to focus on. And that's why programs like this, we also bring these things
to the fore.
Yes, to the fore. So
okay,
that
now let's talk about this administration's efforts towards tackling this issue.
Yeah.
Severally, we've heard in the news about 2 weeks ago, I was watching a report where a couple of sex commercial workers were arrested.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they were picked up along the roads. Some claim that they were going for different things, like they were just giving an excuse when they were interviewed. And one is asking, for these agencies that we have, that's the Edo State Migration Agency, what are the gaps that still exist in this agency that make this problem seem to be persistent? Because this is an issue that we have been looking at for years now. It's not a today issue. What are the gaps that still exist?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, like if you see a few weeks ago, like you mentioned, you said there are some persons we are arrested. The question is, where are those persons as of today? Now, a few months ago, I know it's several months ago, we had a task force that was created by the governors at that time. Maybe probably when he newly entered. You understand? I think that should be around January, February last year, thereabout. You understand? It was headed by this Ebo Stone, this Kelly Okungboa, this thing. We saw what happened. We saw how it became an avenue for extortion by some of these committee members. And you see that the committee was disbanded. You understand? Because first, when you arrest, that's why I talked about deliberate attempt. You understand? Policy. What are the policies of this current administration in tackling this issue? It's not enough for you to just set up a task force and raid those people. What follows after the raiding? Now, let me give you a clue. The previous administration had something, even like I said, it wasn't too holistic, but the truth is that it was something that was flexible that you could rebrand on as you go forward. You understand?
So are you saying that the previous administration actually did more compared to the present?
Certainly, that's why I'm going now. Those are the things I wanted to say. When you arrest these people, you profile them. You profile them. When you profile them, that is what is missing currently now. When you profile these people, because they are all not from Edo State. You understand? So what this government needs to do is that when you profile these people, you now know which state this one is from, this state this one is from. Then what you do as a government, you write to that other state that these people are from, that we have custody of people from your state who are commercial sex workers. You understand? And he said that you go through the first lady of that state, or if they have a similar agency like this, of a migration agency, or the women of affairs of that state, you write to them, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, you write to them that we have been able to apprehend 5 persons from your state. You understand? And we will be returning, you will come and pick them, or will be returned. So there will be an official handover from Edo State government to that government, yes.
So what happens? How can they now manage the parts of, because this is a state movement is not restricted to the best of my knowledge. Yeah. How do they now manage the fact of them coming back into the states?
That's where reintegration comes in. Once you hand over them to their state, it is expected that their state is also going to reintegrate them, keep them, they learn skills. The same thing with those who are now from Edo. When you also profile those who are from Edo, you now ask them, what do you want to do? You understand? That's why they have, during the time of Obaseki, there was no shelter. You understand? The government spends huge resources in putting these people in hotels just to keep them for months before you now reintegrate them. What do you want to learn? Whether skills, you understand? Then you set them up. That was what was obtainable. I know of so many people who learned different skills. You understand? As at that time, during the previous administration. If you go to Fresh One at Airport Road, this cake land, this thing, close to where the cell phones, I know how many people they were sent to them to train.
All right. So I'll pause you there. I'd like us to go on a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. And of course, take your input on the show, because this is a conversation that concerns everyone, the family, the schools, government, and each and every one of us. After the short break, we'll be right back.
From the ancient glory of the great Benin Kingdom to the vibrant culture that defines the Edo people today.
VOS TV proudly presents The Pride of Edo,
A captivating cultural and lifestyle documentary series celebrating the history, traditions, food, music, and achievements of great Edo people across the world.
journey with us through royal traditions, colorful festivals, breathtaking tourist destinations, and inspiring stories of Edo sons and daughters making global impacts.
Each week brings powerful documentaries, studio conversations, youth spotlights, and moments that celebrate the true spirit of Edo heritage. Don't miss the Pride of Edo, premiering March 30th, 2026, exclusively on VOS TV.
Celebrate the culture, honor the legacy, experience the pride of Edo. Only on VOS TV.
From the ancient glory of the great Benin Kingdom to the vibrant culture that defines the Edo people today.
VOS TV proudly presents The Pride of Edo,
A captivating cultural and lifestyle documentary series celebrating the history, traditions, food, music, and achievements of great Edo people across the world.
journey with us through royal traditions, colorful festivals, breathtaking tourist destinations, and inspiring stories of Edo sons and daughters making global impacts.
Each week brings
Okay, welcome back. It is still your favorite morning show done on VOS TV Niger. And in our discussion segment today, we are looking at the topic from prevention to arrest. Is Edo State winning the war against prostitution and sex trafficking? Like we earlier said, it's not a place to point fingers, but we are looking at the roles of everyone, from government to different institutions, religious, academic, and what have you. What is our role in bringing about a solution to this problem? And before I go back to my guests, I would like to appreciate those who are joining us live on the show. Ostino, I see you. Passion for Jesus, Jubri Fadilia, Sunrise TV, and Joranze Giato, Felix, and Peter Happiness, Joshua, I see you all. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, we will be taking your comments very soon. Now, while we were on our short break, our new guest joined us. Yes, he's a regular face here on the show, talking about the civil society activist, Comrade Solomon Idiogbe.
Good morning this morning, and viewers, good morning.
The man with the high voice.
I don't know what it means. But you know, as a civil rights actor, we're always on a high voice. Not be say with the quarrel, now the way they paint us, now
they express some.
Not be our
But they
fault.
say no be as body they scratch you.
No, I'm not the scratch body, I the express. Now, it's a fundamental right. It's a fundamental right.
All right, that's on a lighter note this morning. Okay, yes, back to our conversation. And this time around, I will be throwing this question to Comrade Solomon. Let's do a reality check. Comrade, the issue of prostitution and sex trafficking has been with us for decades. Why do you think this issue persists in Edo State?
Persist is a long-time trade. So the word persist in Edo State is not applicable to Edo State. It's in every state. It's just that unfortunately this current government is doing nothing much about tackling it before the way the previous administration took it. Even though I'm not a fan of Obaseki, I feel that Obaseki is one of the worst criminal-minded governor, but I think that Obaseki did well in that area. Himself and the wife were very, very passionate about it. They were vocal about it. Ditto the Lucky Benedo administration, they were very rugged about it. I've really not seen much about
from this administration.
Although they have a migration agency, some time ago went to Ihama to try to get rid of the streets of a prostitute. But later we know the story that followed, that it was a business transaction where people were made to pay money to bathe themselves. It's not news. It's a clear thing. The people came out to testify. In fact, one of my friends was also part of those lawyers and learning matters. So point I'm making here is that the
so are you saying that this current governor has turned the fight from a fight to a business transaction, or is the agency that you are laying claims on?
It's no news. It was on social media, it was on news, it was everywhere. Yes, they went to raid, and in the end, after raiding, they kept them in a room and they were charging them bail yourself and all of that. That's not how it's done. I listened to my brother when he was analyzing. It's an institution. That's why you had Obaseki built shelter, as criminal-minded as he was. But some of us, we think he built a shelter, although it was underutilized. But at least there was a shelter. One would have expected this government to kick off from there to utilize the shelter. I was ashamed when I went to that shelter a few weeks ago. I saw that it has become a brothel, if you like. People were all around. They said we were camping footballers. That was the shelter was meant for. It was meant to shelter returnees, prepare them for job. In fact, Vivian Center is a complete center where you have doctors, you have police, you have nurses, you have security agencies, you have people from NAPTIP, where it's a complete center where people are supposed to be reorganized and reintegrated. It's a shadow of its original self. The government quotes me and says so that they're not doing anything. It's just a shite play. The one they put as agency for migration is just there looking for a way to make money. The government should wake up if they want to really man the issue of sex slaves, sex trafficking, and prostitution in the state. They should wake up. Let us sit down doing the work and stop making noise about it.
All right, thank you, comrade. Now let me come back to you, comrade Joseph.
Yeah.
For sake of time, let's talk about solutions now. What is the role of parents in terms of curbing this thing early? Because recently we had a survivor, a person of Queen Eki, who came out to share a harrowing experience of how it was even her parents who got her trafficked from Benin to Italy, and how she suffered a whole lot. So what is the role of parents in all of this, and how can they help in providing solution?
For me, first of all, everything is always attributed to poverty. You understand? But going forward, our core values as a people has been totally eroded, and the get quick rich syndrome is also a problem. You understand? It's disheartening that you see a parent. You understand? Ordinarily, you are supposed to be a provider, especially a father is supposed to be a provider and a protector. But we don't see this these days. You just see a man gives birth, and the children are allowed to do whatever they like and anyhow they like. Growing up as a young child, I can remember vividly when they stole my pen. You understand? And I took it, and I had to take somebody's own in the exchange of mine, since mine was missing. Since mine have been stolen, when I got to my parents checked my bag and they saw that pen, and they asked me where I got it. I said they stole mine, and I had to take
somebody else's own.
And my mother was very angry. And the next morning, she gave me money to buy another, that I should return that my son.
Sorry to pause your thoughts there. There is a conversation I was listening to on radio one time where they talked about, as a man, if you know you are not able to give birth to children, that for now, that men should not give birth to children. If you cannot cater to, take for instance, you know your financial abilities, you cannot give birth, that there should be a law that goes against people who are not able to provide for children to stop them from giving birth. What do you think about such?
But you know, this is Africa. For me, that would have been better. But you know, this is Africa. That would be difficult to implement. You understand? And you know, this part of the world, they will tell you that even man is polygamous by nature.
Wow.
So they'll tell you that we are Africans, we are even entitled to marry. Even if you go to some communities, you see youths of like 20, 21, they even have more than 2, 3 wives. And what they do is just to, if you go, especially maybe in the night, if you even go to the far core north, you see these things.
Yes.
They are rampant, underage marriage and all that. So it's a big problem. It's a huge problem. But the truth is that, like I said, our value system is totally dropping by the day. And this goes to the issue I was raising just now, where your parents engineer you, guide you. I cannot as a father have my son who I sent to school now come home with a Venza. You understand? Or somebody I know I'm paying his school fees. These are the same thing with these young girls. They go, before you know, they say little crimes make up big crimes in criminology. That's how it is. So when they go and meet one small boyfriend and they give them 20,000, 5,000, 10,000, they come home and the mother is encouraging it. You understand? Before you know it, so instead of you to they do local, why not
do international?
Yeah, so that you can bring
all right, thank you, comrade. Now let me come to Comrade Solomon. Comrade Solomon, I'm going to try to wrap up time. In a few words, what is the role of religious, traditional, and academic institution in the fight against this?
And you know I'm not a man of few words.
I know, that's why I had to tell you.
Trying to walk within time. You know, when you talked about making people give birth or not give birth, it's actually a cultural thing. It's varies from culture to culture. The northern culture, the Islamic religion, now you look at culture and you look at religion. Islamic religion encourages an average Muslim to marry more than one wife. You are not expected to have a girlfriend outside, but you are allowed to have more than 1, 2, 3, 4 wives.
But that is according to the religion, if you can take care of them.
The word if you can, it's ambiguous. What is the determination of if you can? So you what's the yasi for the measurement of the can or cannot? So the truth there is that our religious father, our cultural leaders, our traditional leaders have a role to play. I remember when this His Royal Majesty Manoba Nedo Kwapolopoloba Ewari II Oba Atokbe took over. He was one of those who championed the cause against this, because at the time he was an ambassador, and part of the country was ambassador. It was Italy. So he understood the dynamics. Unfortunately, you saw, because of the zeal of the government as at then and the zeal of the palace, you could see it, being propagated, manifesting. Now you have perhaps a traditional council that has the interest and the government that is not showing the interest. Then they can't work together, because two cannot work together unless they agree. The government can prove me wrong by waking up to their responsibility. Now you have asked what's the role. It's moral. What this tells us is total moral breakdown, moral decadence. It's on the increase. Families do not mind what their children do anymore. They don't. They care less. They care less how children, provided. In fact, if a child is not meeting up with his peers, you see, mama say, "Not be your friend." They write Vans. I go say they get. HK that they go in the high, how much that they pay, I go pay, then you go learn too. They think it's a trade. So parents have a lot to do. Culture, by way of bringing out, when we're growing up, there's this, people didn't know what Taste by Moonlight did to a lot of us.
In a minute, sir.
Yeah, Taste by Moonlight, because your parents will come in the evening, tell you stories. In every story told by your father or your mother, there's a moral. The simple moral there is that don't do what is unlawful, don't disgrace us, and don't bring our names to ridicule. So, these are the religious leaders. Today, you go to 20 churches. I can assure you that 19 are preaching prosperity. And what's prosperity? It's getting money quick. Telling you that you can wake up and just pray money. So, religious leaders, whereas when we're growing up as children, when you have 15 churches in a catchment area, I can tell you if not the entire 15, 14.5 are preaching salvation message. So they must wake up. We must look at where we missed it and walk back to it. If we are able to start with this moral awareness, moral awakening, cultural awakening, we can get it better. And families should realize that teaching your words, family value, will go a long way. What we have now is simply put, a child that a witch gave birth to for a criminal, and the wizard helped to train the child. So you understand how
interesting. You will analyze that for me after the show. I want to know more. All right, it's been really a pleasure having you on the show, Comrade Solomon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Joseph, as well. All right, and this is where we'll call it a wrap on the discussion segment of the show. But before I go, I will not leave here without taking some comments. This one is coming from Felix. He says, this has been such a insightful and thoughtful conversation. I truly appreciate your positive thoughts on this. Thank you, Felix, for your comments. And this one from Joel Collins TV says, we can't solve this issue without roping government into it. Government should provide jobs. Okay, from Ostino, to address this head-on, government should provide an enabling environment for employment and business opportunities. Then this one for Joshua, it says we need jobs indeed. That is what everybody is clamoring for. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on today's edition of the show Dawn on VOS TV. I remain your girl, Felicia Udeji, and I say bye for now.
From the ancient glory of the great Benin Kingdom to the vibrant culture that defines the Edo people today,
VOS TV proudly presents The Pride of Edo,
a captivating cultural and lifestyle documentary series celebrating the history, traditions, food, music, and achievements of great Edo people across the world.
Journey with us through royal traditions, colorful festivals, breathtaking tourist destinations, and inspiring stories of Edo sons and daughters making global impacts.
Each week brings powerful documentaries, studio conversation, youth spotlights, and moments that celebrate the true spirit of Edo heritage. Don't miss the Pride of Edo, premiering March 30th, 2026, exclusively on VOS TV.
Celebrate the culture, honor the legacy, experience the pride of Edo. Only on VOS TV.